Hey, welcome back, Katie Alloy. Thank you so much. Rock Wilk is here with us. He's a playwright and an actor, showcasing his work at the Pergonis Theater on April the 7th. He's actually here to tell us a little bit more about his upcoming play, Brooklyn Quartet 2.0. We welcome now Rock Wilk to the show, and good to have you.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Good. And for those people who don't know a little bit about Brooklyn Quartet 2.0, this has a major connection with Sean Bell.
Yes. Well, it's actually, the whole story is inspired by the Sean Bell shooting. So it's a fictional tale, it's a play, but it actually starts the day after Sean Bell was shot, and then it rewinds 20 years, then it comes back and it ends the same day.
Assuming our audience doesn't know about Sean Bell, please tell who Sean Bell was.
Sean Bell was somebody who was shot 50 times by New York City police officers and killed in 2006 coming home from his bachelor party. So he was kind of like the first of the names of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown and, you know, all these unjust killings at the hands of either police or otherwise, you know.
And so you take this and you take the Sean Bell story and you translate it to a play. Give us a little bit about what happened after this here.
What you mean?
In
How
terms
it
of,
transpired? Okay,
yeah.
so actually, the connection is this. I used to be in the music business, so I came home from a session one night. I was living in Bed-Stuy. I ran into a friend of mine, and he said to me, "Did you hear what happened last night? Like these kids got shot by police 50 times." And they were unarmed, and one of them was killed. I was like, 50 times? And then his little brother said to me, "Oh, don't worry, Rock, you're safe." I'm like, "What do you mean I'm safe?" And he's like, "You're white. You couldn't get shot 50 times if you tried." And I was like, wow. Like, this little boy knows that I would never get shot 50 times, you know, just because of the way I look. So it inspired me to write I actually wrote a poem at the time, and I performed it. Somebody took a video of that poem at the I performed it at the New Eurekan Poets Cafe, and somebody sent it to the Bell family, and we got connected, and I was invited out to Jamaica to share it with the community, and we just spent a lot of time talking about privilege and race, and it just went from there. And my work is all kind of social activist based, so that's how it got connected.
So this is in the 4th year of development, huh?
Yeah, been doing it for 4 years.
And so for people who want to check this out, obviously they're going to have an opportunity to get a first-hand look, but what are people going to be able to see, and what do you want people to take away?
Well, they're going to see a solo show for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And they're going to see, you know, a lot of hard work. I mean, I'm directed by Reggie Gaines, who wrote Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk. I've developed it as an ensemble piece, as a solo piece. So this is kind of like the culmination of like checking out which way is the best way to tell the story. And what I want people to come away with is, you know, I'm always hoping to like inspire dialogue mainly. Because I think it's really difficult for people to talk about privilege and race and relationships and things like that, forgiveness. You know, I think my hope, you know, like the characters, there's two boys, one's black and one's white, and then there's a girl who's a Latina, and the story's told by an angel named Queen. And so what I actually hope is that everybody in the audience sees a little bit of themselves in each of the characters, you know, so that to show that we're, you know, kind of relatable to one another no matter what we look like, you know. So that's really my intention, is to just, you know, to get people to a place where they can actually talk about it, especially white people who I think have the biggest problem talking about race and privilege.
And do you feel this gives an opportunity to really open a door for a conversation to be had?
Yeah, I mean, that's really why I do it, to be honest with you. I mean, I feel like that's the most important thing with regards to this play, is to get people to feel comfortable to engage with one another to talk about it. And I feel like getting everybody, all kinds of people, into a theater space at the same time to see this beautiful story is my manipulative way of getting them to start to deal with it.
So talk about this one-man performance for 2 hours. I mean, I got a friend that actually is doing, she does a one-woman performance for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. I always ask the question, like, how intense is it for you to have to stand here for like 2 hours and do this solo?
It's very intense, but I live for it, you know. I mean, it's like I mean, first of all, I spend so much time by myself, you know, learning this and working on it. So it's kind of like an opportunity for me to have a whole bunch of friends in the room at the same time. It's very intense. It's, you know, I look at it as an offering. You know, it's like I do all this work, and I have intentions that are kind of lofty in terms of bringing people together. And so for me, it's just an opportunity to be with as many people as possible and to engage with them. And so it's very intense. And, you know, just also tangibly, it's hard to keep people's attention for that amount of time, just one guy on stage. So I'm trying to channel this story so that people kind of almost lose me and they start to see the story. So I'm hoping that they, you know, I'm trying to give, like as Reggie always says to me, I'm trying to give them the opportunity to imagine. You know, so I'm trying to create a beautiful shared experience for me and for the audience at the same time. Yeah.
And so people who want to check this out, they have the opportunity to do this, and where and when?
Pregonis Theater in the Bronx at Walton Avenue, down by 149th Street. It's the most amazing theater run by the most fantastic people. And it's April 7th at 8 o'clock. And you go to brooklynquartet.com or pregonisprtt.org.
And so you have you people come on and do this now. Now, you've done some work yourself. You know, you recently appeared in the first feature film, Jamesy Boy, with James Woods, Mary Louise Parker, and Ving Rhames. Yeah,
I got to be, you know, it was a very quick role, but
it's a role.
Yeah, it's a role. And actually, the film is about a friend of mine named James, and it's a story about his incarceration as a high school kid. It was an amazing experience. So, yeah, you know, I do a bunch of things, but you know, mainly my life is pretty much consumed with Brooklyn Quartet right now because it's all consuming. You know, it takes everything to deal with it. So that's pretty much all I'm doing right now.
And so, what's a typical day like for you? Rehearsal, going through?
My day is I get up and run every day. My nutrition is really on point because I have to be it's like I'm training for an Olympic event. You know, I have to be really physically able to do this. I rehearse every day for at least, I have to put in at least 5-6 hours every day to do this because it's like 2.5 hours of words in my head. And also, you know, not just to memorize it, but to figure out how to present it in a way that's, you know, like a play. It's not just like me shooting out a bunch of words. So my day is comprised of just rehearsing. You know, I rehearse at Pregonis a lot. I also have a residency at a place called the Medicine Show Theater in Manhattan. They've been so good to me. So, you know, I'm just like, I spent a lot of time by myself working on this, and I spent a lot of time with Reggie. And that's really it, you know. And, you know, also just paying attention to what's going on in the world because that's what the play is about. You know, you can't get so insular or isolated in your own world. It doesn't make for good theater. You know, I have to know what's going on with you and everybody else.
That's true. Well, so much is going on in the world today, but certainly thank you for what you're doing in terms of raising the conversation. I think in a time like this, where there's a lot of division, bias, and stereotypes, you know, conversations need to be had. And if your work does that, then really, you know, thank you for the work that you're doing.
It's my privilege and my honor.
Well, Rock Wilk.
Seriously. Thank you so much.
Playwright and performer. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Thank
best
you.
wishes. God, check him out. Listen, and his show, as we said, at the Pregonis Theater. Come on, check him out and see the work. And afterwards, yeah, have a conversation and talk about it. Well, listen, we come to the end of our show today. Definitely want to thank our guests for joining us, but most of all, I want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, please catch the Recablecast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Cablevision's Channel 67, or you can watch us anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. I'm Daren, and certainly it's been a pleasure coming to your homes. Remember, keep your channel wide open.